Good morning, everyone. Myself, Sheikh John Saida. I am from Telangana. Today, I have done the topic about a new renewable energy index. Let us know what is a renewable energy. Renewable energy, often referred to as clean energy, comes from natural source or process that are constantly repulsed. For example, sunlight or wind keeps shining and blowing even if their availability depends on time and weather. While renewable energy is often thought as a new technology, harnessing nature power has long been used for heating, transportation, lighting, and more. Wind has powered boats to sail the seas and windmills to green grain. The sun has provided warmth during the day and helped kindly fires to last into the evening. But over the past 500 years or so, humans increasingly turned to a cheaper, dirtier energy source such as coal and fracked gas. And next, renewable power is booming as innovation brings down cost and start to deliver on the promise of a clean energy future. American solar and wind generations are breaking a record and being integrated into the national electric grid without a compromising reliability. This means that renewables are increasingly displacing dirty fossil fuels in the power sector, offering the benefits of lower emissions of carbon and other types of pollution. But not all sources of energy marked as renewable are beneficial to the environment. Biomass and the large hydroelectric dams create difficult trade-offs when considering the impact of wildlife, climate change, and other issues. Here, here. In this, there are 8 topics. Introduction, first one, literature review, and data and methodology. Next, empirical findings, and empirical, and next conclusion and recommendations, and author contribution statements, and declaration and competing interest, and at last, acknowledgement. These 8 topics can define the what is a new renewable energy index. Let us start introduction. Energy is an indispensable source of power for economic development. Mainstream research has concluded that energy can be divided into 2 types. One is renewable and one is non-renewable. Uh, Let us know about renewable. Renewable energy includes solar, hydro, and wind energy. Wind energy is made when the wind moves the blade on the wind turbine. This movement creates wind energy, which is converted into electric energy. And next, we learn about non-renewable. Non-renewable energies includes coal, gas, and oil. Most cars, trains, and planes use non-renewable energy. These are made by burning fossil fuels to create energy. Hmm. Research analyzes the impact of non-renewable energy on economic development is very comprehensive. Many studies have shown that the use of traditional fossil energy can promote economic growth. However, economic growth is not only goal and the use of non-renewable energy has been widely criticized for its unsustainability and significant carbon emission. In recent decades, as climate changes has become most significant and there has been an increased awareness of environment protection. The importance of developing renewable energy has gradually impressed, particularly in recent years. significant attention has been paid to renewable energy consumption. Some students have found that renewable energy positively impact economic development. Other studies have found that renewable energy inhibits it. First, with respect to political risk, a stable political environment helps to promote the implementation of renewable energy policies. In the early stage of countries' development, renewable energy development of often driven by policies rather that begins demand driven. It is what about the introduction. Next, let us know about literature review. In the past 10 years, the research on the relationship between renewable consumption and economic growth has attract, uh, attracted widely spread attention. In the below figure, we can see six types. Similar to the broader research on energy consumption and economic development, the most studies focus on analysis. Renewable power is booming as innovation brings down the cost and start to deliver on the promise of clean energy future. Empirical studies have proposed for four testable hypotheses in the context of the renewable energy growth relationship. Growth hypothesis, conservative hypothesis, feedback hypothesis, and your neutrality hypothesis. First, the growth hypothesis explains the unidirectional causal relationship between renewable energy consumption and economic growth. This shows that the increase in renewable energy consumption will promote economic growth. Second, the the conservative assumption explains the one-way relationship from economic growth to renewable energy consumption, which indicates the economic growth determines energy use. The neutrality assumption means that there is no causation link between renewable energy consumption and economic growth. Let us talk about data and methodology. In this, the simple data for this study includes balanced panel data from 1997 to 2015 for OECD countries. The experimental variable in renewable energy consumption, the explained variable is economic development in 2010, constant US dollars. And the control variable includes trade opening and the level of urbanization. In the below figure, there is a flowchart. Business understanding, then next analytic understanding, data requirement, data collection, data understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluation, deployment, feedback. The country risk index was created from data in the International Country Risk Guide (ICRG). ICRG is considered an authoritative risk rating agency, with many studies using its data to measure country risk levels. The guide predicts and analyzes political, financial, and economic risk for 140 countries and the regions. The rating results are considered the standard that other rating can refer to of the guide risk. The political risk index includes 12 components with a total score ranges of 0 to 100. The economic risk and financial risk index include 5 components with a total score ranges to 0 to 50. Next, the composite risk score is generated by dividing the total score of the three indexes by 2 with a total score range of 0, 100. This risk is used to measure the overall nation risk to avoid the disadvantages of only studying a single factor and provide a more attention evaluation. The guide predicts and analyzes political, financial, and economic risk for 140 countries and the region. Let us talk about next empirical findings. These articles applies three-unit roots test method LLC, Fisher, ADF, and Fisher PP. The panel unit root test is used to test whether and the variable is stable. The other variable are all non-stationary series at level and cannot be directly regressed. However, however, after the first order difference, the results obtained are very significant, indicating that the null hypothesis has been rejected. After the first difference, each group variable has no unit root. The result of the four test methods are be stable after the first order difference. The Keogh panel cointegration test in renewable method of testing whether variables have a long-term stable coordination relationship. It is applied in this study to assess the long-term relationship between economic development, renewable energy consumptions, national risk, trade openness, urbanization, and carbon emission. Before estimating the specific threshold of the model, it is necessary to ensure that the sample data has been threshold effect. The threshold effect model is used in measure the specific threshold. The statistical package state 16.0 is the used to perform a threshold effective test on the sample data. And next we conclude that conclusions and recommendations. With the increasing severity of global climate change and the increasing awareness about environmental protection, renewable energy has the potential to gradually replace traditional energy. Next. An increasing number of studies have focused on the relationship between renewable energy consumption and economic development. To fill this gap, this study applied that the panel threshold model to analyze the panel data set OECD countries from 1997 to 2015. The impact of renewable energy consumption on economic development differ with the different threshold intervals or different country risk. In general, the renewable energy consumption promotes economic development. According to the composite risk indicator measuring overall country risk, the impact of renewable energy consumption on economic development and effective by the country composite risk. Similarly, a stable political environment helps renewable energy consumption plays a larger role in promoting economic development. In countries with higher political risk, every 1% increases in renewable energy consumption promotes economic growth by 0.024%. The empirical results of the panel threshold model shows that economic and financial risk thresholds are used. Now that we have increasing innovative and less expensive ways to capture and retain and wind and solar energy renewables are becoming a more important power use, accounting for more than one-eighth of US generation. The expansion of renewables is also happening at scale, large and small, from rooftop solar panels on home that can sell power back to grid to giant offshore wind farms. Even some entire rural communities rely on renewable energies for heating and lighting. As renewable use countries to grow, a key goal will be modernize Americans' electric grid, make it smarter, more secure, and better integrated across regions. Non-renewables or dirty energies includes fossil fuels such as oil, gas, and coal. Non-renewable sources of energies are only available limited amount and take a long time to replenish. When we pump gas at the station, we are using a finite resource refined from crude oil that has been around since prehistoric times. Non-renewable energy sources are also typically found in specific parts of the world, making them more plentiful in some nations than others. By contrast, every country has access to sunshine and wind. Prioritizing non-renewable energy can also improve national security by reducing a country's reliance on export from fossil fuel-rich men. Many non-renewable energy sources can endanger the environment or human health. Author contribution next statements. Qing Wang tells about conceptualization, methodology, software, data curation, writing original drafts, supervision, writing, reviewing, and editing. Jiquen Dong says that methodology, software, data collection, investigation, writing, original drafts, writing, review, and editing. Declaration of com- competing interest. The author declared that they have no competing financial interest, personal relationship that could appear to influence the work reported in this paper. This means the renewable are increasing displacing dirty fossil fuels in the power sector offering the benefit of lower emission of carbon and other type pollution. But not all the sources of energy marked as renewable and beneficial to the environment. These are the topics we have learned from a new renewable energy index. Real acknowledgement. The author, the author would be the like they thank the writer and these anonymous reviewers and these they help the constructive comments that greatly contributed to improving the final version of manuscript. This work supported by the National Nature Science Foundation of China. And at last, thank you.